I study the nature of web search engines and the effects they have on traditional ideas concerning knowledge. Google is increasingly becoming the font of all our questions, if not all our answers too. And Google works so well, right? Or at least we've grown very satisfied that the answers that Google gives us are the kind of answers we were looking for in the first place. And that the way these answers are presented in a hierarchized top-down linear list representing the previous preferences of other users is just the way these answers should be presented. But to criticize the effect Google has on our lives seems like the complaints of a spoiled child. Google knows what I mean so much of the time, right? It gets me web pages it knows I've been before, finds me new ones it knows I'll like, recommends me restaurants or the cheapest place to buy new CDs, shows me the quickest way to walk across town when I'm late for a meeting, or gets me a page scan of a book when I'm too lazy to walk to the library to sort out my essay citations. Google sorts me out so much of the time. And increasingly the phrase, just Google it, means use your computer to find the answer. And in an age of computer ubiquity, where most of us carry around a small computer in our pockets, we increasingly assume just Google it as our mantra for finding answers. The just in just Google it, serving to remind us of its simplicity, speed, ease, and above all, transparency. You don't just do things which have complex or ambiguous outcomes. And it's this situation which provides the backdrop for my research. It causes me to ask questions like, should Google results be tailored to my interests and opinions, or should it have an obligation to show me a more balanced viewpoint on certain issues? What would the balanced viewpoint even look like? And how would we even assess balance, relevance, and usefulness? With these questions in mind, I want to take a look at Google's mission statement. Google's mission statement is, and has always been, to organize the world's information and to make it universally accessible and useful. Not the web, but all the world's information. Now I find it really difficult to imagine what all the world's information would even look like, let alone how to make it accessible and useful. And don't be deceived that this is simply an ambitious way of describing web search. Google stepped away from simply directing people to things on the web long ago. Google Earth, Maps, and Street Views are attempts to systematically capture all the world's information, visual and geographical information, and to make it accessible and useful. Google Glass enables our daily lives to become machine readable and allows data from our everyday experiences to be placed in a functional context, rendering all stimuli meaningful and useful. Finally, Google Books, perhaps the most important of these developments, which last year announced that it scanned and made searchable 30 million unique books and aims to have scanned all published books ever. Google estimates this around 130 million by 2020. These scans both help Google's algorithms better understand our natural language inputs, but also means that Google's results aren't just web pages, but are all of history's published thought. Jorge Luis Borges' short story, The Library of Babel, comes to mind, in which a universe consisting of a total library contains every possible combination of that universe's 25 letters in every possible order. All possible knowledge has been gathered, but the story tells of suicidal librarians who have gone insane trying to separate out the valuable volumes from the mass of incoherent possibility. Here the idea of relevance becomes key. In 2004, Larry Page, one of Google's co-founders, said, "The ultimate search engine would basically understand everything in the world and would always give you the right thing." Which begs the question, even if Google does manage to create a machine which understands everything in the world, what does giving me the right thing mean? Does this mean structuring all human knowledge around opinions and beliefs of the masses or academic elites? Should Google tailor its results to people in my country or specific communities or personalized to me as an individual? Could knowledge ever hope to be relevant or useful if it was structured in the same way for everyone? And if we think knowledge structures should be localized, what does this say about our increasingly globalized society? So even if Google is changing our lives so many ways for the better, we also need to take a step back and start asking some tricky, culturally and philosophically focused questions. Questions about technology and culture and about what we want the future to look like. Thanks.